crypto investor and YouTube star with over 500,000 subscribers on his page. The Moon, Karl Ruhnfeldt, joins us now in a Fox Business exclusive. Karl, good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Tell me why you think Charlie Munger is dead wrong.
Because he's old and boring. I can't come up with a better answer than that.
You think he just doesn't understand this stuff? And I don't say that to be ageist. The more people you talk to, it seems like the younger generation just gets it more.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, email in the early 2000s. It was something that was not very easy to use, and of course older people didn't really get the point and wanted to use, you know, normal postcards. So like it's always the case that the new generation will adopt the new technology, and eventually, ultimately, the better technology will win. And I think that all the Bitcoin bears, they are already capitulating one by one, but at the very end of the I would say within like 10-20 years, I don't think we will see any more Bitcoin bears, because Bitcoin will be fully integrated in our lives as potentially even a world reserve currency. So, I mean, it would be very, very expensive to be bear today.
Charlie Munger can certainly email. I just do want to point that out. But I want to alert our viewers to something that Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, by the way, speaking of bulls, owns $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin and says buy it at whatever price, don't sell it, hold it. But he made comments earlier today. He said, look, I'm not going to go out and use Bitcoin to buy a cup of coffee, nor should you. The dollar is the currency. Bitcoin specifically is the world's reserve asset. Would you agree, or do you think it has transactional value too?
Well, as Bitcoin works today, I think he's correct that you cannot use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange because the transaction fees are slightly too high for small transactions, like, for example, a cup of coffee. But of course, if you want to send $1 million or even $1,000, the transaction fee will probably not be much higher than $1-2, which means that Bitcoin is the best form of, or the safest way of transferring big values around the world. And you can even transact $3 billion, $10 billion if you want, with the Bitcoin network, and only pay $2-3, which is of course impossible with the normal fiat currency system. But to make Bitcoin a medium of exchange, we need a second layer on top of Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin blockchain itself cannot handle that. But actually, it's the whole point of Bitcoin to be slow. If Bitcoin was not slow, it would not be secure. So it's actually not a bug, it's more of a feature. It has to be slow. But for these very, very quick small payments, like buying a cup of coffee, there will be second layer solutions developed. You have Lightning Network, for example, which is very early stage, not very user friendly yet, but hopefully in the future, maybe that will work out. But for example, me and my friend Carl Rogin, we have taken our own spin on this, and we have created something called Kasta, Kasta.io, where we are going to basically create this second layer on top of Bitcoin, where you can have instant and free transactions, and essentially being able to split bills with crypto if you go to the restaurant with your friends, or if you go pay for a cup of coffee. And that, because it's very, very important. If Bitcoin cannot do this, then I don't see Bitcoin ever becoming a world reserve currency. Of course, it can be the gold,
and an inflation hedge.
That Bitcoin is much more. For sure. Bitcoin is the best inflation hedge in the world, actually. I think we have never, ever in the history of humans ever seen an asset that is as scarce as Bitcoin, because the total scarcity that Bitcoin has, where there can never be more than 21 million, can only take place in a digital world. So yeah, Bitcoin is more scarce than gold, more scarce than diamonds, more scarce than even Picasso paintings, because who knows, maybe we find some room full of old Picasso paintings. I just think that it's very, very obvious that Bitcoin is not only the best store of value in the world, but it's also, I mean, essentially, Bitcoin is the store value, but I'm very, very sure that it's also going to be a medium of exchange as soon as we fix the problem of it being too slow and
10
too
seconds.
high fees.
When will it be a medium of exchange in your view?
Within 20 years, it will be the world reserve currency. medium of exchange. I hope already in Q1 next year when we launch
soon.
our app.
Okay. I thought you meant 20 years for exchanging. I was like, wow. All right. Got it.
No.
Carl the Moon Runefelt, thank you for the time. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much.